Welcome back to my second Legion remix video, but with a slight twist compared to the first one, and then also some differences compared to others. There are so many videos out there that are telling you the how. How do you get the most infinite power? How do you get the most infinite knowledge? And my previous video is the same thing. It's telling you how to do all this stuff. Now what about the why? Why do we choose some content over others? Could we make this a little bit more research-based and backed by what is actually going to be doing the best? Is it worth doing slightly lesser content if we're having more fun while doing it? Well, definitely possible. And also some of it is dependent on what you're actually doing in Legion Remix. If you're here to get a plus 30 key, you might have to do harder content if you want to get the 30 and get out. You might have to do not so hard content if you just want to have a fun time, play the whole Legion Remix or just a longer period of time to scale up to that 30. Not to mention, some of us might not have the time to actually grind out a ton of content even if we want to. Maybe there's a method that kind of circumvents that a little bit that'll save us a lot of time just by playing a little bit each day. It all depends on you. It depends on what you consider fun, what gives you enjoyment out of the game. If that's getting to the highest level of content and just grinding that out, there's going to be a better path for you that saves you hours and hours and hours of time. Some people will not need to do as much difficult content just because it's not something they're interested in. And maybe they only just need to do specific content that they can farm just enough to get by at a plus 30 key or find a different way to be able to meet their goals. I will clarify one thing before we move forward. Your damage is almost directly tied to your versatility. If you have 100% versatility, your damage is going to be half of someone with 200% versatility just because they have double. And this is my experience within dungeons. Of course, different specs, classes, roles are going to be doing different damage, but it is going to scale almost 1-for-1 with versatility, which makes sense as it's increasing your damage by that percentage. Some classes, they don't utilize versatility in Remix as much, so they might not benefit exactly 1-for-1, but it's still close enough to consider. Having high enough versatility is associated with being very geared. That means being level 80, having 740 or the maximum item level, and that's why people are looking for specific versatility levels when they're running higher keys, is because they already know that you have reached certain points in the scaling tree that your versatility is the only thing that scales from then on. Another brief explanation of this is when you hit level 70, you'll notice that your damage goes way down, all the scaling is super far off, and the very brief explanation is that your stats, your secondary stats, and your primary stats for that matter, they mean less per number. So a 50 stat in crit might be 30% crit when you're leveling up, but once you hit these threshold levels like 70 or 80, that 50 crit might only be, I don't know, 5%, 3% crit. The scaling is very off. I took quite a few hours to do some research to give you some hard data. Here are the results. In the last week, I have been doing research on Mythic Plus and raids based on how much motes you can earn to get your higher item level gear, and then also how much infinite power you are earning per run and also per hour. I didn't just consider, oh, I completed this run, how much did I earn? It's also how much time did this run take? Because what I mentioned earlier, some people don't have as much time to play. They might just want to jump into a raid and complete it quickly and just get the rewards from that. Another group of people is those who just want to be efficient. You might check this out and see that Heroic Trial of Valor is actually kind of worth it. It only took me 4 minutes from the first pull to the end of the dungeon to complete it. Unfortunately, this does not account for how long it takes to form a group. Generally, it's pretty quick, but it's going to vary. Your group is also going to vary in itself in the average item level, so the clear time is also going to differentiate as well. There are only a few factors that we can control in this case, and so it's kind of difficult to get a complete solid study without having a large variety of results, and that would take many, many hours, many people to contribute to one database of information. However, what I can control is my group. Since I led the group, I can control what the average item level is just by inviting those who have higher item levels. It takes longer in that case. I can also control my own item level. I farmed out a lot of Mythic Plus, and that increased it to a high enough stat to where I wasn't a stick who didn't do much damage. And that's okay. I mean, it's okay to also be a little bit on the weaker end. You will still get into groups. You will still get people who are more geared, way more geared than I am. And these are all factors that I would consider. As we can see here, instead of looking at the how, we are looking at why. Why should I be doing different content? Is it worth doing different content? Why is heroic technically in some cases better than mythic? Well, it's because it's faster. If you only have a few minutes each day, it might be worth jumping into a heroic raid opposed to a mythic one if you want to save yourself a little bit of sleep, or you just simply don't have enough time. It's worth jumping into it if you think that you need that extra little boost. It's also worth jumping into it if you play the game a lot and you have time to do both. We can see that it's really fast. You're already at the instance, you might as well hop into heroic and double down. If you're a new account, you are also going to be better off doing both because, well, you're not really able to push mythics. Jumping into a raid is generally a lot faster and then also more free, as you only need a few carry characters in that group to be able to complete it in a rather quick time. My group probably had an average item level of 630 or 620 when we did the Mythic Trial of Valor and the Heroic Trial of Valor, and it was still pretty fast. Before we move on to dungeons, I just want to mention the motes per hour. It is worth doing the heroic versions, because as we're seeing on the left-hand side of the spreadsheet, you're actually not getting that much less than the mythics. And that kind of holds true throughout most content. It is not varying enough to where it's worth doing much harder content to farm the motes. And they're a great way to get your item level up, so I would definitely suggest doing any content that you can, really, to earn those motes. A great starting point is actually completing all the quests in all of the quest chains that you can. That's a great way to do it without having the fear of not being accepted into groups. You'll boost up your item level, and you'll be more accepted. The next thing we're going to review is dungeons. I completed 5 dungeons on varying ranges of difficulties. The first 5 are on Mythic Zeros, the second are on 10s to 14s, and then the final 5 are on 17s through 23s. For the sake of this study, one fragmented memento of epoch challenges is 1000 infinite power. Another thing I will note, you will see these 15 dungeons and you will notice one of them is almost 20 minutes long. That happens sometimes. Sometimes it's only 3 minutes long. It can be ridiculously fast depending on your group. It all averages out over time, and so I made sure to include the 20-minute run in the normal results, but then below that I didn't include it, so I averaged just the 4 other ones. My item level while doing all of these dungeons ranged from 700 to 740, and basically, if you're able to +3 a key, it's probably worth doing. If you're lower item level and you're struggling to +3 a key and you're maybe just barely timing it and just getting a +1, that's going to impact how much infinite power you're earning. The motes remain generally the same throughout if you +3 it or not. It's the infinite power that you're having to be concerned with, and that's what's scaling your versatility, what's scaling your damage. However, if you're not really +3ing it, I would suggest to stick to lower dungeons. +3 what you can. If you can't +3 anything, farm zeros, and then farm whatever you can, do the raids, do more quests, do anything you can to boost it up to the point to where you can start +3ing things, and then farm that specific difficulty until you can +3 higher difficulty and work your way up, as that's how you're going to get the most rewards. It's very possible that you run into people who can carry you if you just post your own key, and if that's something that you're into, if you're okay with just being carried, I mean I am, personally, it's worth doing too, because you're going to have someone else +3 a key for you, and you're going to earn better rewards, so if your goal is to maximize how much you're earning, go for it. Get carried as much as you can. That's going to scale you the fastest. The point of this video was not to tell you what to do. I want to make that very clear. This is just to give you an informed, researched opinion. You see the data right in front of you. It gives you an idea of what's going to fit you the best, and also what you can consider just based off of what I've told you. Is it going to be worth running the hardest content possible to scale as quickly as you can? Or maybe you just realized after watching this video, you don't have to do that much work to get to a +30 over time. Or maybe your goal isn't a plus 30, it's just to play the game and have a fun time and scale up passively or as easily as you can, and running a raid here and there, a really fast one at that, might be worth it for you. I hope this video helped you create an informed and slightly researched opinion, and it provides you some helpful feedback in your future gameplay and remix. I also really just hope that you focus on having fun and collecting everything that you'd like to. I'm personally doing it for all of the gear and transmog and toys and pets and mounts, you know, the whole list, the whole gambit, really. I did spend a little bit more time than the average video making this one, and it was a lot of fun. I'm really hoping that we can kind of figure out a better way to reach out to each other. I noticed there's not a lot of comments, there's not a lot of engagement on my videos, and what I would really appreciate is some feedback. Do you think I should make a Discord? If you join my community in WoW, that's one way that I can kind of monitor who you are a little bit to hand out my Discord to you. And I'm thinking that's kind of what my next step is to create a Discord so that we can actually communicate with each other one-on-one. My videos are not meant to be just me and you as a separate entity. I want us to form a community with each other. Have a great day. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much.